Welcome, Buff fans. I'm excited today because I am joined by one of the newest members of the Colorado Buffaloes. Well, at least the newest member of the 2024 recruiting class, Kyeran Garcia, a linebacker out of Dunbar High School in Florida. And Kyeran, I know you just came from a workout, so you're a little bit tired, but how you doing?
Yes, sir. I just came from putting in field work. Everything's all good. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you got a lot of work to do because you got to be ready for football here in a few months, right?
Yes, sir. Of course. I'm looking to come in and just try to match the energy of some of these older guys.
Yeah, your recruitment is interesting because you had a whole bunch of offers, but none from the Power Five level until Colorado came in late. And so then, as soon as that Colorado offer came in, you scooped it up. I know. And so, how exciting was that for you when Colorado came in?
Yes, sir. I was very excited. I been working my whole life just for a big opportunity, and coming into high school, I just been grinding, looking for my first Power Five offer.
So tell me how it came about. I mean, I know there was an All-Star game, a Florida All-Star game that you participated in recently, and that's when Colorado noticed you. So kind of tell me that process. How did it all come about?
Yes, sir. So I was up at a FACA, which is FACA All Star game, and we just now getting out of practice, and I got a call from my head coach and assistant coach that trained me. They were just telling me Colorado was just looking at me. I didn't really think it was nothing serious. So they wanted to get my measurements. I took a picture, and then I got a text that said Coach Prime wants to get on FaceTime with you. So I was like, what? So I ended up getting on Zoom with them, and it felt unreal. It all happened so fast. It was like 15 minutes. I got on Zoom with them, and they told me they wanted to offer me a scholarship. They said they like my grades, they like my character. This was before they watched my film. They ended up watching my film. They said I'm a playmaker. They offered me a scholarship.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I mean, you had offers from pretty good schools, all the service academies and some Ivy League schools. So, some really good schools were offering you. But I know talking to recruits over the years, it just hits differently when the Power Five comes after you, right?
Yes, sir. Of course, it's big opportunity, big platform.
So, what did that mean to you? I mean, you get off the phone or off the Zoom, whatever. Was it kind of surreal? You're like, did I really just have a Zoom with Coach Prime?
Yes, sir. I mean, on the phone, when the words came out of his mouth, like you now have a scholarship offer, it was crazy. Like, couldn't believe it. But getting off the phone, I took like maybe 5 minutes just to sit and think to myself, like, all the work paid off. And I just called up my mom and dad.
So you did have, offers from, 20 other schools, something like that. And it was all the service academies. And I understand you actually took a visit to Air Force, right?
Yes, sir.
So you've been to Colorado, just haven't been to Boulder, right?
Yes, sir. It was up in Colorado Springs. I think it's about 30 minutes.
Yeah, a little more than that, about an hour and a half.
Oh, yes, sir.
But what did you think? Yeah, I know you haven't been to Boulder, but what did you think of Colorado just being here?
Yes, sir. I mean, a lot of people was telling me about like the elevation and like the air quality is thinner. I didn't really notice a difference. It's cool. I ended up seeing snow for my first time going up there. It's not really. I don't really think like it'll affect me. It's cool.
Yeah, but you were obviously, to visit there, you were thinking about Air Force, and do you have a connection to the service academies? Like, is there a family connection to the military?
My brother is in the reserves for the Army, but he doesn't really tell me much. So it was just me going based off of if I wanted to serve and just play ball there.
Yeah, and you were obviously thinking about that. So was that a hard decision, or was it pretty easy once Colorado came after you?
I mean, it was pretty easy. I already had scheduled visits before Colorado, so I just kind of took the visits just because I ended up telling Colorado coaches too that I was taking those visits, but I was still locked in committed.
Yeah, and the other part of your journey is that you're a linebacker now, but you weren't always a linebacker. I mean, it's only been a couple years you've been playing linebacker, right?
Yes, sir. I started my junior season.
So what were you playing beforehand? It was receiver, right?
Yes, sir. Receiver, a little bit of DN.
So how did you grow
My,
from how'd you go from a receiver to linebacker?
so I was always like fast my whole life, and I ended up getting bigger going into my junior year and still maintaining my speed. So my coaches they tried me at linebacker my sophomore year going into my junior year that spring game, and I ended up 15 something tackles, a couple big hits. So they just said I'm a linebacker, and I've just been a linebacker ever since.
Did you play much defense before that?
Not really. More of a receiver.
Okay. So how long did it
Yes,
take
sir.
you to get that defensive mentality? I mean, you have to have a different mentality as a linebacker as opposed to receiver or really most positions on offense.
Yes, sir. I feel like I always had a dog mentality. It was just more about learning tackling technique, and I just always had my speed. So I just put on some size, and it was came naturally.
So when you started hitting people, did you start liking it right away?
Yes, sir. I love hitting people. It feel good.
So you just started doing that and didn't even look back. I mean, did you want to play some receiver after that?
I mean, I feel like I ended up getting a little too big. Not necessarily like slow or anything, but just
Mhm.
I want to stay on the defensive side of the ball. It's a different type of feeling when you hit somebody.
Yeah. So in some ways, do you feel like you're a late bloomer because you've only been playing your position for a couple of seasons?
Yes, sir. But I feel like I caught on very fast and just the ability to go to Colorado. I feel like they'll develop me. It shouldn't really make a difference. Only having 2 years of experience.
Yeah. So how much are you looking forward to that? I mean, just being, you mentioned the development, but I mean, because you've only been a linebacker for 2 years, how much are you looking forward to learning from college coaches and just absorbing as much about the position as you can?
Yes, sir. So Clark, the linebacker coach out of Colorado, I look forward to playing up under him. I feel like he does a really good job at developing his linebackers. I watch some film and they just play like lights up. So I feel like he can develop me into just being an animal and get into the next level.
Yeah.
Uh,
You're from Fort Myers, which we all know, Coach Prime is from there as well. How much did you guys kind of bond over the Fort Myers connection?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but he let me know that he's harder on his 2 through 9 guys, the Fort Myers guys. They shouldn't take anything for granted. So we have to come up and work just like everybody else. It's not really a handout. If anything, he pushes us harder than everybody else.
Because he expects more out of you, right?
Yes, sir. Coming from the same place he came from, he expects us to just work harder and just understand. He understands because we come from the same place.
Yeah, probably because he knows what type of talent comes out of Fort Myers, right?
Yes, sir. I feel like coming out of Fort Myers, being able to pull this offer, because it's a lot of dogs out here, so it really means a lot coming out of Fort Myers.
So are you looking forward to that aspect, knowing that you have to work hard under Coach Prime, or else you're not going to play?
Yes, sir. No doubt. If you're not working every day, 2, 3 times a day, probably won't even touch the field.
Yeah. So I know it was just recently that Colorado started reaching out to you. So before that, they've been all over the internet and everything for a couple years now, right? How much did you pay attention to
Yes,
what
sir.
was going on at Colorado as far as like the documentary, all the YouTube videos? How much were you paying attention to all that?
Yes, sir. I wasn't really into the documentary, but Power Five Ball, I would say Colorado stood out the most. Like every time I go on TikTok, all you see is Colorado, Skull Bus. They really everywhere on social media.
So since you committed, have you gone back and like do you now watch a lot of the well off media videos and the YouTube channel? Do you watch a lot of that stuff now?
Yes, I'm tuning in. When I get out there, I hope to put smiles on people's face back home.
Yeah. Are you going to be one of the stars? I mean, because there's a few guys that stand out and wind up showing up on a lot of those things. Do you have that type of personality that fans might see you in those a lot?
Coach, that's I'm a superstar.
You were breaking up there a little bit, Kyron.
I said that's who I am. I'm a superstar.
There you go. I know reading another interview with you that you said you're kind of a quiet kid, but you got that confidence in you, and you obviously work hard. The grades show it. What you've done on the field that shows it. But where'd you learn the work ethic? Like who instilled that in you?
The work, so the work ethic, I say it always just been inside of me. Just watching growing up, I just always wanted to get to the next level. And then when I found out what it took, I just took that upon myself. Just work out every day. I made it.
Did you have adults around you, like parents, things like that kind of pushed you?
Yes, sir. My mother and father, they really the academic side was always me, but my mother and father they always preached to me about grades. I have a 4.3 GPA, and they won't let me continue football without making sure my grades are right.
Yeah. Well, I know you ran track as well in high school. Are you still doing that and plan to do
Yes,
that this
sir.
spring?
No, sir. I'm looking to just continue to work out on the field and just get some lifts in, just go up there ready. Trying to be on the same pace as the rest of the guys.
Yeah. So many of the team is already here in the spring. So do you feel like you have to put in that work so you're not as far behind as other guys?
Yes, sir. Of course, they're up there working hard. I actually follow them pretty much on every social media, and every day they just constantly working hard, lifting, running. So I'm trying to match back home in the 239.
That's awesome. So when do you plan to get here? When's high school over, and when do you plan to get to Boulder?
So I graduate in May, sometime in the end of May, and I'll be up there before summer. So I'm looking at June. I
Okay.
should be up there June, locked in with the team, working out.
Well, it's gonna be here before you know it, right?
Yes, sir. I got like 3 months and some.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to meet you in person. I know Buff fans are going to be excited to have you on board here. So thank you very much for joining me, and wish you a lot of luck as you finish up high school.
Yes, sir. Anytime. Go Buzz.